Hey guys, Little V here, and this is a quick little demo and review of Bias Amp 2 from Positive Grid. So, if you are familiar with the original Bias Amp and Bias FX, it's more of the same, but with more tube options, more microphone options, more cab options, etc., so on and so forth. And as you can probably hear in the recording you're hearing right now, sounds fantastic. By the way, this is the beds for a cover that'll be coming up this week. I'm pretty sure you can figure out which one it is. So, Bias Amp 2's greatest strength is also, to me personally, its greatest weakness, and that there is a bazillion options when making your amp. You can change the tubes, you can change the cabinet, you can change the amp, obviously. You can change the different microphones, because now there's 4, and you can use them in combination with each other, and you can choose the different power stages, you can choose the exact amount of distortion in the low end and the high end, you can choose the which type of EQ thing you'd set up for. If it's set up for, like, you could have like a dual rectifier, but with like a 5150 EQ curve, and it's just, it's too much for me. It's too much for what I do. Considering I put out a song every week for the channel, I don't have time to be fiddling with toys and knobs and noisemakers. Hell, even in fact, in this cover right now, I'm not actually using the installed cabinets. I'm just using an impulse response that I really like, because I was just like, I was fiddling with the amp settings way too much, and I'm just like, just give me the tone, let's record, let's do it. By the way, the rhythm and lead parts are a dual rectifier, and the ambient parts are the Mark IV or the Mark II C+, or whichever one it is, whichever mark it is. And the rhythms are boosted with an overdrive, and the rhythm and leads have a little bit of the EQ from the Jeff Loomis EQ pack from Bias FX. Oh, and the bass tone is pretty straightforward. It's just I think it's the blue line bass, and it's just that. Now, of course, as I mentioned, this level of customization is also Bias Amp 2's biggest strength, right? You can basically nail down exactly the tone you're looking for, and honestly, if you can't find the tone amongst all the options that you're looking for in that program, you're probably chasing after a tone that doesn't exist. But as I said, with my workflow, I just load myself up a dual rec or a 5150, and I just want to play. I don't want to sit there for 2 hours tweaking the guitar tone. I just want a good guitar tone, one that'll go for it. So if anything, I'm more of a Bias FX guy, not a Bias Amp guy, because I'd rather just go like, sweet, there's the 5150, there's the dual rec, there's the JCM 800, just load it in, plug in, play, go for it. The other big complaint I have is that, like always, Bias Amp 2, just like all the other Bias stuff, is a RAM hog and a CPU hog. I had 10 instances running in this project of quad-tracked guitars, the overdubs, the lead stuff, the bass, and especially once I started running it through a third-party reverb, or just a really powerful reverb, like the Slate Digital stuff, or even just Chromaverb in Logic, it just completely tanked my computer. And I have a pretty damn good computer. I've got 64 gigs of RAM and 12 cores. Like, it was just absolutely just wrecking it. If you had it in a box, like the Bias Rack or the Bias Amp, would probably be really great, but honestly, the plugin is just, like I said, it's a RAM hog. And judging from the people who use this program, you're probably also running a pretty intensive sampling software for your drums too, so like, goodbye RAM. All in all, I don't know if I can recommend it, because if you're new to Bias FX is where you want to go, because it's a nice, simple way to get into it. You get a lot more bang for your buck because you get distortion pedals, you get, you know, delays, reverbs, compressors, etc. But if you do already own it, you already have the original Bias Amp, and this is kind of just more of the same, except for with, you know, a little bit more options, right? You have more preamp tubes, more power tubes, more microphone choices. And, like, it sounds great. Like, it does sound fantastic, but it's, like I said, for me personally, it's just too much. There's just too many options. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you hate my guts because I didn't give Bias Amp 2 a phenomenal, outstanding review, there's a dislike button there as well, too. And if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button, you know, hit the little bell doohickey, all that stuff, comment, everything, blah, 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 YouTube end card rant. Rock on, peace out, we'll see you next time.